Hello, everybody. In this video, I'm going to be walking you guys through an MCP server I made to connect to X's product Websets. Websets is an asynchronous web search product that returns spreadsheet compatible data sets in response to a user query. So as an example of how that works before we get started, let's say that I wanted to find research papers and I said, find me research papers that relate to AI agents designing their own tooling. This is a personal research interest of mine. So you can see up here, we've got our query, we've got some search criteria here, and let's just add published 2024 or later. Yeah, and then we can add some of these, let's say, secondary authors to give somebody other than the lead professor some love. And these enrichments just correspond to different columns here in the spreadsheet. So you establish a result count here, and you start the search. So what this is doing right now is this is going through trillions of web embeddings from Exa, and it's just going to take as long as it needs to take to find the best data set for that query that we just put in. Sometimes this takes as little as 10 minutes. Sometimes it takes as much as 30. But it's this idea that we shouldn't have to limit the accuracy of web search to get an instantaneous result back in all cases. And if you want to see what this looks like kind of towards the end, then we end up getting all of these columns filled where they're able, and it's going to prefer in the rankings entries that satisfied all of the criteria. So in this case, these look like articles, but these could be people. These could be people you're looking for on LinkedIn, companies, articles here, research papers, any entity. So now that we've got that kind of established, let's look over here at the server. So this is hosted on Smithery. Smithery is a platform for, it helps users ship and use model context protocol servers. So over time, this is going to be more AI native services that are meant for use by AI. At this point, that's pretty synonymous with model context protocol. But there's a ton of really, really, really great servers on here. I encourage absolutely everybody to come and take a look. Great platform. But so we're going to go over here to the Websets server, and you can see over here on the right that we've got all of these different MCP clients that it can generate us a command to connect to. So I'm going to click on Claude Desktop, and I've got my Exa API key there. Now, as a note for anybody that's watching this, if you want to use this server, Websets, you can access a certain amount of Websets for free, just here online in the UI. If you are going to use the API and by extension the MCP server, you will need to have the Pro plan here. It's not a cheap sticker price necessarily, but it's just the data that you can get from it is absolutely tremendous, and what you can do with it is tremendous. And I wanted to demonstrate a little bit of that today. So we've got this command here. So I'm just going to go ahead, go here into the terminal. Awesome. So now I'm going to open up Claude. Just move this up here really quick. Awesome. So if you look here, you can see that we've got our Websets server. We've got a regular web search. We've got our Websets manager, which has all of the operations that you can do on Websets kind of abstracted away behind it or encapsulated, I guess. And then a guide that's going to help your model know what to do with Websets. So what I'm thinking about in terms of what you can do with this MCP server through Claude that you wouldn't be able to do through the web UI is you can create a lot of Websets really, really quickly, and you can compare across Websets. So you can use this product, which is already, it's very, very deep web search, and you can make it wider, more horizontal. So what we're going to do today is we're going to say, so let's say that I'm a startup founder. I'm looking for investments in my AI product. Let's say I create model technology, which I do. So what I might do is, if I don't want to be restricted geographically, let's say I want to have a global search for the best investors for my company and for my product. What I can do is I can say, use the Websets Manager tool on the EXA MCP server Websets, which I'll rename MCP server, to create 10 websets. These websets should find investors in AI companies with a stated interest in model native technologies like those accessible via model context protocol. And let's say generate one website for each of these cities. So now let's just list some. So we'll go London, Berlin, Tokyo, San Francisco, New York City. Let's go Tel Aviv. We'll do Mumbai. We'll go Sydney. It's 8. Maybe Seoul and Barcelona. So now Claude's going to think about it, and it's going to go ahead and make these websets for me. So we can sit and watch it do the first one. And it's going to read the memory server first, I guess. Cool. So it's going to use Websets Manager, and there's all these operations that you can perform on Websets Manager that correspond to the different endpoints of the Websets API. So it's going to make this here. And so because these take a long time to be complete, what Claude is going to do is it's just going to go through, send off the queries, create the websets, and then we're just going to wait. And when these are done, we'll be able to compare across websets. Let's go back over here. And you can see these creating over here in the sidebar. So I did a video on this before and ended up having to make a new one. But what I did was I went ahead and when I did this before was looking at kind of a similar thing, different investors in different cities. So if we were to go into these, so we've got, this one's for Rio de Janeiro. This one's for Toronto. And what I want to do when these websets that we just started get done is I want to go through all of these with Claude and I want it to pick a best of. So this is going to take, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes. So I'm going to pause the video. And then when I come back, we'll go through all of the websets and see if we can find the best investor for a hypothetical AI product. Okay, so looking over here, it looks like these are either done or very, very close to done. That's close enough. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go in here and we're going to ask some questions that would help us find the best of the entities in these websets for a particular use case. So let's go. Let's say that I have an AI product that provides, let's say that provides LMs with a suite of tools for general use cases like reasoning and calculation. Among the investors in all created websets, which would be the best for this product, irrespective of city? Return, let's say, list me 5 candidates and explain your reasoning. All right. So it's going to go through and it's going to look through those 10 websets. So I've given it kind of a vague description of an AI product. And it's going to go make sure that the websets have completed processing. And once it's done that, it's going to actually go through and search. So it's still getting the status right here. And here we go. All right, so we have multiple searches going in parallel, or about to. And so we'll come back to this here in just a second. But the idea that I have for this is that if you wanted to take a much more horizontal view of research and of researching things like entities, or I guess entities versus things like, ideas or events or something like that. But like a thing with properties that probably has a profile somewhere or has something that you could uniquely identify it by. That websets, as with anything, if you can get the agent to run many times and then either choose the best run or the best content among all the runs, you're going to get a higher quality output. Just on the level of like, we've thrown more compute at it. We have more options to choose from. The odds are good that we're going to get a better set of results than if I just said, hey, let's do one website, and just take a global scope or something like that. I would much rather have a collection for each city, scope to each city, and then choose the best of those if I were able to look for investors in any city. So let's see what we've got here. Okay. Sequoia Capital. Sequoia Capital is the best VC for me. And if somebody could tell them that, A16Z, Lightspeed, Benchmark, man. So it looks like, I don't know where Thrive Capital is, but I know that Sequoia and A16Z and Benchmark are all in San Francisco. So I don't know if you want to use that as proof that the best VCs are in San Francisco or not for AI. But what I do hope you take away from it is tell Mark Andreessen to call me. So, but I think I've I've demonstrated kind of the idea, which is that with this Webset server, you can get several different data sets and then choose the best of both. One of the cool things about Gen AI is that anything can be a database, right? You can perform retrieval from anything. You can store data in a bunch of markdown documents, and the AI goes through in your editor and goes through and reads them. So it's kind of been my thinking as far as just like how we can start instituting stuff in parallel, and that was my idea for this server. So I will go ahead and end this video here, but I hope you enjoy it. Join the Smithery Discord if you'd like to see a lot more servers like this. I'll have the link in the description. And enjoy, everybody. Have a good one.